Today we're in one of North County San Diego's most desirable neighborhoods. We're right at the southern portion of Carlsbad. The neighborhood is called Aviara. It's this gorgeous resort style community, master plan. We're gonna go through everything you need to know if you are thinking about living right here. We're gonna get into neighborhoods. We're gonna get into places you need to check out, things you're gonna be doing if you're gonna be living here, what beaches you're heading to, and everything in between. So let's get into it right now.
So first off, where is Aviara? It is the southeast zip code, so there's 4 zip codes in Carlsbad. This is 92011, so it is a coastal city. Aviara as a whole doesn't really feel like a coastal town. It feels a little bit more Mediterranean. You're right on the lagoon right behind us here, but it doesn't really feel like a beach town like you'd say kind of that 92008 part of Carlsbad.
Yeah, let me show them real quick. So yeah, you got palm trees here, right? We're at the golf course, but back here is like more of the neighborhood. It's just a lot of like pine trees and big foliage and all that kind of stuff that's grown out since they built this. So it's got a little bit different feel.
When they built this, they built it around the golf course. So Aviara Golf Course, beautiful golf course out here. So it really just has that country club, resort, kind of chill feel here, and it's super walkable, and we're going to show you one of the really great spots to walk, but a ton of sidewalks, some trails that we'll get into, and just a really good feel. We have a lot of people out walking dogs today. It is, of course, a gorgeous day here in San Diego.
Beautiful day here. And walkable, meaning easily accessible for sidewalks. There's some trails cutting through the neighborhoods. Like Cassie said, we're going to show you one of the best little amenities to have right here, but there's no walkable to, let's say, infrastructure. There's basically no infrastructure within this whole neighborhood, which is actually one of the draws. So you're not having shopping centers right in the middle. There's a little shopping center off to the east. We'll get into all that in a little bit. There's another one over this way, so we'll dive into what are in all those here shortly. But you're not going to find any convenience stores. You're not going to find any shopping centers. You're not going to find any, like, you know, gas stations. Yeah, nothing within this whole Aviara community. So it's a draw. It's mostly, besides the golf course, it's all the residential neighborhoods, which we're going to go show you right now. And while Cassie's getting some beautiful drone footage for us, one other thing about the resort here, you do have on the other side, you do have the actual resort where you got the Hyatt. You can get day passes up there. There is a racquetball club, tennis, pickleball, all that kind of stuff. But also where we just were at the actual golf course, there is Ember and Rye, which is a restaurant here, like this little steakhouse, just right at the top of the golf course. So open to the public, all that kind of stuff. Heard good things. One of our buddies been there a handful of times, but it is right down here. There's a few restaurants up in the resort as well, but that's kind of like the main jam. Little date night. If you just want to grab some happy hour down here, it's a good little spot to do that as well.
So why do people move to Aviara? There's a lot of reasons. One of the big ones is there are a ton of residential homes. Like Chris and I mentioned, over 30 neighborhoods in here. We're driving through Sandpiper right now. This is one that's near and dear to my heart. I've sold a handful of houses in here, including some clients that bought here, lived here for 1 year on the same street, and bought a single story on the same street. So really cool. They loved it so much they just wanted to find something that was a little easier on their legs. So lots to offer. We'll get into schools later, but that's another one of the huge draws of why people move to Aviara. Some of the other things, Chris mentioned that there are a lot of eucalyptus and pine trees, but once you get into a lot of these neighborhoods, a lot of people have landscaped with their own style. See, I'm counting date palms. It's like 3,000, I think, at this point. There's palm trees, there's pine trees. There's a little bit of everything in here. So it kind of has, especially the landscaping that's all grown in, since this is a master plan community that was built kind of in the late 90s into the 2000s. It has a little bit more of a custom feel, even though it is a master plan development, and all of the houses tend to be stucco. They all tend to be kind of that Mediterranean style. See a lot of that terracotta tile or tile roofs, some concrete shingle roofs, but a lot of that Mediterranean style in here in Aviara. So even though Aviara is a master HOA, it does have an HOA, it doesn't have that kind of traditional clubhouse like La Costa Valley or La Costa Greens, Bressi Ranch, some of those that have a big pool, they have community center, and a lot of other amenities like this. Aviara doesn't really have that, so if you need to have those things, definitely get in touch with us, call, text, email, tell you a little bit more about some of those neighborhoods if you're looking for those amenities. But here you're getting a lot of really pretty landscaping. So all over, it's super well maintained. Got a park that we'll show you later in Aviara. We've got some other little pockets, parks and hiking and trails and stuff like that. So HOA is covering a lot of that maintenance. There are also some gated communities, either detached, or we do have some condo gated communities as well. So those will have their own secondary HOA as well. So that's just something to think about when you're thinking about Aviara.
So we mentioned earlier that Aviara has a lot of walkability. As far as sidewalks, super easy. If you've got kids, you got strollers, walk around, yeah, you're gonna be easy cruises through there. But they also have this right to the southern portion. We're at Bataquitos Lagoon. It is a good amenity to have. There's a trail that tracks basically from the 5 freeway, which is right here, all the way just almost to, where does it cut into? El Camino Real almost?
Almost, yeah.
So it's a nice long trail. Plus, throughout Aviara too, you're gonna find a few other smaller trails through neighborhoods and stuff. There's a eucalyptus trail, and back 2 years ago, I guess, I was running and I always wanted new routes, and I still run, but not as much different areas. But nonetheless, got to check out a lot of these places, and so there's a bunch of different little areas to go and explore right here in Aviara. So it's not like a hiking destination, but this is a great amenity to have right here.
Most of our lagoons here are not really accessible, so they're natural preserves. There's a lot of signs for staying on the trails, or we just passed one that says no fishing unless you're under the I-5. So the freeway, you might be able to hear it, is just right over here. And
what the kids say they were catching? Caught some bass and some needlefish.
Yeah, so you can fish over here. You just have to get underneath, not underneath, but right by the 5 freeway to be able to do that. Most of our lagoons, like I said, are not accessible. You can't take paddle boards or kayaks or stand-up paddle boards, anything like that. But Agua Hedionda is just to the north of here.
You nailed the pronunciation too.
It's just to the north of us here, and there's jet ski rentals. You can stand a paddleboard. You can get on kayaks. A lot of those water sports you can get up in that neck of the woods.
So we're going to show you at the end, like, people move down here, move to these coastal communities for the beaches. If you're a beach person, we're pretty close to the beach right now, not too far. So we're going to show you one of the best little beach spots coming up here. But usually the best beach is like going to be the one that's closest to you. So from here, we'll get in all the beaches in a little bit. So stay tuned for that. We'll give you all the insight. If you are a beach person, need to know where to go. Another more affordable option right here in Aviara. There's still some awesome floor plans, some awesome setups, some awesome space right here. And this is just one of the communities, but is condos / townhomes. So we call them condos / townhomes. That's what you're gonna find a lot of here in San Diego, is like that townhome style, especially North County, not really like high rises. It's like attached 1 wall, 2 walls. The particular community that we're at right now, it's got on the end units are like single story, but then you got a lot of 2-story in there. So there's a lot of these spread out through Aviara in different styles, different areas. Even right in front of us, there's another gated community with like, I think they're detached condos. So it's like a house, but you know, it's just a little bit smaller footprint, a little smaller lot, that kind of stuff. And while there's a lot of homes detached, plenty of different neighborhoods, there's only a handful of these styles. So if you guys want to dive in and figure out, yeah, I do love that area, but a little bit more budget friendly, hit us up, call, text, email. We'll dial you in on some of these neighborhoods and show you around. And some of these smaller complexes, like when we said Aviara as a whole doesn't really have those, you know, amenities as far as pools, as far as anything else going on. Some of these ones do, where they might have a community pool, maybe like a little tot lot or something like that. So while Aviara as a whole, you're not gonna get much, but once you get to these condos, you will find a few more amenities within the area.
If you're moving here and you have kids, schools are going to be important, obviously. And part of the big draw of living in Aviara is the great school district, really highly rated, and specific schools. So a lot of people that are looking in the Carlsbad School District want Aviara Oaks Elementary, want Aviara Oaks Middle School. Carlsbad as a whole has K through 12, so there's no separate school district for high school like Encinitas has. So just a little bit of difference there, but a lot of really great schools as a whole in Carlsbad. But here in Aviara, a lot of people, that's the reason they want to be here.
And we just drove by Aviara Oaks, and it's like complete remodel.
Demolished.
We're summer of 2025 right now, and there's tractors. It's all tore up. They're building new buildings, so it's going to be nice and brand new when you get here. At least parts of it. I don't know how much they're ripping down, but another huge amenity in Carlsbad as a whole, this area is no different, is the park system. So we're at right now at Aviara Park, which is a huge park, and you got ball fields. We just walked past playgrounds and stuff, big grass area. On the other side, it's a huge area for soccer. So if your kids are into soccer, I'm sure they're gonna end up at a game. It's a big turf field, so rain or shine, they're playing out here. So you have all that, and then right down the road is Poinsettia Park. That's one of the parks we play softball at. So super fun. They have softball fields, ball fields, parks, pickleball, huge
tennis.
pickleball. Yeah, I think it wasn't. They converted a bunch of the
No, they added
tennis
more on.
courts. Okay, they added a bunch.
Yep.
They added a dog park over there as well. So that's a huge draw. That's like a few minutes, a little bit closer to the west over there. So you got some good park systems. There's other ones you can explore that aren't too far as well right here in Carlsbad. But just another great amenity. They take great care of their parks here. Last year we had our client party in one of the community parks over at Stagecoach. So it's just a fun area and plenty of space to get out, let the kids run around right in here in Carlsbad.
And if you do have kids that play sports and you're looking for like what organizations play at these parks, definitely get in touch with us. We can give you all of that information because a lot of our kids play exactly where we're at right now. So we mentioned that Aviara as a whole is 99.9% housing, almost all housing, but there are some amenities. So to the west you have a big Ralph Center. You've got Pelly's Fish Market, which is a really well-known fish market for either getting fresh fish, but they also have great soups, great food, definitely worth checking out. And then to the east side of Aviara at El Camino Real and Aviara Parkway, there's a big center that has a Cinépolis for the movie theater. It's got a, I believe, Vaughn's for groceries, Notorious Burger, Sports Bar and Grill, I think is what it's called now.
Just changed.
Yeah, and Inglorious Bagels,
yeah.
A couple of really good spots that we like in that center as well.
And there's a Cinépolis. Did you say Cinépolis?
Yeah, I said,
oh,
yeah.
You already said Cinépolis. So a nice luxury movie theater over there. But yeah, there's a few other options in there, but there's nothing right in town, but you're 5 minutes away from all that.
So right now we're in front of one of the other gated communities here in Aviara. This one is going to be detached houses if you're looking for really upscale, really big houses with gorgeous views. This is definitely a neighborhood you're going to want to check out. As you see them come up, it is called Aviara Point, but we call it Aviara Drive because it is literally one street that goes down the hill here towards the golf course, on the golf course on one side too, but it is some of the best views and some of the bigger homes here in Aviara.
So we finally made it to the beach, right over that way. We are actually at the camp store. Cassie's gonna give us the lowdown on that. It's actually one of the only oceanfront restaurants, hangout, cool places to check out right here in all of North County. But as far as beaches go, you're like we mentioned before, what are some of the best beaches? It's usually the closest ones to you. This one's probably not gonna be the best one. It's a little bit difficult. It's we're at the campgrounds right here in South Carlsbad, which is pretty cool if you come camp here, if you live here. We've done camping trips out here.
Yep.
My family does Thanksgiving down here sometimes. It's awesome. But down to the south, you have Ponto, which is a great beach, especially if you have kids. They have bathrooms there. They have parking, super easy. Right here, from there all the way up to about, I don't know, Palomar Airport, even north of that. It's going to be a lot of bluffs, so not the easiest. Once you start getting into a little bit past that, like just north of Cannon Road, it flattens out a little bit. You have parking on the side of the road, so there's plenty of beaches that you could hit from Aviara. Even Aviara, you could go, I mean, shoot down to Encinitas. Once again, a lot of bluffs down there too, but you could go down to like Moonlight if you want something a little easier. And also Aviara, since you're on the southern portion of Carlsbad, you can shoot down to the Leucadia area of Encinitas if you want like downtown and date nights and, you know, go out, explore a little bit, a bunch of local spots. Really good. It's actually one of my favorite downtown areas right here. Carlsbad Village just to the north as well. So there's a bunch of other options where you can hit up just directly from there.
And where we're at now is the camp store. Really cool spot. As we found, there's not a ton of parking, but we got lucky, super lucky.
We did. Friday at just about 4 o'clock.
Yep.
So
there were 3 spots open. So now there's only 2.
9 spots total. So if you're coming here,
yeah, a lot of
e-bike.
A lot of e-bikes over here. Yeah, we just as we pulled up. So really cool spot. Food, drinks. They have a lot of live music. We grabbed a couple of beers. So a really good beer selection.
What'd you go with?
A Pure Project Tropical Mist.
And I went a Society Pupil IPA.
So
local spots, good stuff.
Yeah, so they have some good local beers, also some just kind of the standards also, and just a really cool spot to check out. They do have some cool events. I just asked Chris if he brought the kids here for the dinosaurs. They had like animatronic dinosaurs here for a few weeks, but they do a lot of other cool things in the fall and the winter as well.
Yeah, you can follow them on Instagram too. We'll bring up their Instagram feed, so if you want to kind of follow out what they're doing, just get a little more info and check out, you know, the vibe here.
And if you are thinking about moving to Carlsbad or San Diego and Aviara is not the spot for you, maybe it is, definitely reach out, check out that next video that's popping up to get a little bit more information on living here in San Diego.